Reincarnation is not a modern invention. The idea of the soul returning to planet Earth after death, sooner or later, in a new physical body, has survived throughout the successive ages of the world. For me, the antiquity of the doctrine of reincarnation should be considered as an argument in its favor rather than an objection. The important question asks, do you believe in reincarnation? Yes? No? Do you believe, really believe that we die only to be reborn again sooner or later into this plaguesome world, and we shall keep coming back until we attain all-round perfection? Pastors don't want you to believe in the doctrine of reincarnation. Meanwhile, the Holy Bible itself is replete with reincarnated personalities. I intend to identify some of them. The pastor of your church might have been telling you, you live only once and after death, it is judgment. But the truth is, all the pastors in Nigeria and all over the world have lived many lives. They have occupied the bodies of all races, and they have taken part in all the civilizations of the past. Remember, we have been told all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. That means the past life records of our pastors might be completely disgraceful. The past life records of our pastors might be filled with sinful activities such as lying, stealing, fornication, adultery, corruption, etc. In past lives, most of our pastors were corrupt. They were fantastically corrupt. And obviously, in present life, most of them are still the epitome of corruption. I urge you to persuade the pastor of your church who resent the doctrine of reincarnation to shed light on Galatians 4 verse 19, in which we are told, travail in birth again until Christ be formed in you. I will show you.
Galatians chapter 4 verse 19. My little children, of whom I travail in birth again until Christ be formed in you.
Did you hear? Travail in birth again, or should I say, come back to this world again and again and again and again until Christ be formed in you. My memory cannot fail me. There is another verse I want you to persuade the pastor of your church to interpret, and that is John 1 verse 21, in which they asked him, are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? He answered, no. I will show you.
John chapter 1 verse 21. And they asked him, what then? Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no.
Many a times I wonder why those of you rummaging the passages of the Holy Bible have never paused to reflect over these words of the Jewish priests and Levites. Are you Elijah? He said, no. Are you the prophet? He answered, no. Kindly ask the pastor of your church to shed light on the aforementioned verses, and I beg of you to send their answers to me. Who knows, I might gain more enlightenment through pastoral answers. I just cannot know it all, can I? If the law of reincarnation truly exists, there is nothing unbelievers and haters of reincarnation can do about it. The Almighty God will not ask for the opinions of human beings before implementing or enforcing His divine laws. If the law of reincarnation truly exists, we shall keep reincarnating until we attain all-round perfection. The Master Jesus told his disciples, Elias is already come, and they knew him not. That is a crystal clear confirmation. The soul of Elijah reincarnated in the body of John the Baptist. In the summation part of the conversation, the disciples of the Master Jesus clearly understood he was referring to John the Baptist. I will show you.
Matthew chapter 17, verse 10 to 12. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribes that Elias must first come? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall come first, and restore all things. But I say unto you, that Elias is come already, and they knew him not.
The Master Jesus often used parables to conceal spiritual truths to the masses. He it was who said, Do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast your pearl before swine. However, in the transfiguration event, he spoke plainly. He told his disciples, Elias is come already, and they knew him not. In the same vein, your long dead relatives and close friends might have returned and you knew them not. Majority of the masses are easily swayed. Therefore, no matter what a pastor says, it will always get a following. The blind leading the blind, I guess. We have been told by pastors, souls are sent into incarnation for one singular existence, and one singular existence only. They have told us it is all our activities in one single life that will determine whether we shall go to heaven or hell after death. I encourage you to juxtapose the one single life postulation of pastors with Elias has come already and they did not know him. Reincarnation is embedded in the answer Jesus gave to the Sadducees. I will show you.
Luke chapter 20, verse 35 to 38. But they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage, neither can they die any more, for they are equal unto the angels, and are the children of God, being the children of the resurrection.
Quite revealing. Did you hear? Those who shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world. In other words, those who shall become worthy to attain everlasting life, neither can they die anymore, etc., which means they had already died more than once. It is only through series of rebirths and chemically instigated trials on planet Earth can the soul of a mortal attain all-round purity, attain everlasting life, and become equal unto the angels. The reincarnation of certain biblical personalities are embedded in the summation part of this passage. I will show you.
Luke chapter 20, verse 37 to 38. Now that the dead are raised, even Moses shewed at the bush, when he calleth the Lord the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. For he is not a God of the dead, but of the living, for all live unto him.
Quite revealing. Now that the dead are raised clearly refers to the then actual rebirths of Jacob and Isaac. These verses does not in any way refers to their future resurrection. If it were to be so, they could have not been referred to as the living. What do you know about Enoch? Enoch was an outstanding biblical figure who lived a total of 365 years before he was taken by God. Is that all? No, that is not all. Much later, Enoch reincarnated in the body of Noah. Noah died at the age of 950 years. Eventually, Noah reincarnated in the body of Abraham. Many years later, Abraham died. You may want to know whether late Abraham reincarnated again. Yes, he did. And in due course, I will mention his new name. Quite a number of people have written to me saying that no human being has ever come back after he died to prove that there is a continuation of life after death. The truth is, sooner or later, a dead soul often returns in an entirely new physical body to planet Earth, just as Elijah returned in the body of John the Baptist, and they knew him not. Remember what the Master Jesus said, "But I say unto you that Elias is come already, and they knew him not." Most of our dead relatives and friends often return in a new physical body so that they can fully focus on their new earthly trials without perturbations from their past lives, relatives, and friends. Highly advanced spiritual masters can easily recall previous earthly existences. As human beings, we often strive to forget our previous sad experiences in life so that we can move forward. We cannot move forward if we keep dwelling on the past. In the same vein, it is not proper for ordinary human beings to make strenuous efforts to recall their past earthly existences. Let the sleeping dogs lie. That is the proper thing to do. They should only bear in mind they failed in their previous earthly existences. That's why they are here again to strive to do what is right in the sight of God, so that after death they can be with Him in paradise. My brother man and sister woman, what do you know about King Solomon? King Solomon was a fabulously wealthy and wise king. King Solomon, it was who asked God for an understanding heart to judge his people wisely and be able to perceive between good and evil. Is that all? I don't think so. Remember, I told you Enoch was reborn as Noah and later reborn as Abraham, and later again he came back into this sinful world as King Solomon, who was a wise king who did much to help his people. So you see, there are no brand new souls on planet Earth. We all are ancient souls. All the terrible, vile things we did in the past are still with us. We still have carryovers to deal with, and we still have many lessons to learn. The irrepressible law of karma is at work all the time. Sowing and reaping is real. We always reap what we have sown in the past. We always come back in a new physical body to deal with outstanding karmic debts. Belligerent Moses, the receiver of the 10 commandments from God. What do you know about him? In order to escape death, little Moses was placed in a basket by his mother, and the basket was placed on River Nile to float. Moses it was who led the Israelites out of bondage in Egypt, etc. After the death of Moses, he reincarnated as Elijah. There are many strange things, almost too strange for one to believe, but because one is ignorant about them, does not mean they are not real.
Follow us on Facebook at GuruDesai, Instagram at GuruDesai, Twitter at GuruDesai, and YouTube Desire's Pathfinder TV.